Hello, Nathan here from PH Studios, and welcome back to another XNA networking tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to restrict the movement of the player to the bottom half of the game window. And we're going to do that so that since there's no way to turn and change the way where you're looking in this current status of the game, we're just going to restrict the movement. Now, we'll probably modify this game in a future tutorial to have it to where you can rotate and have it like an actual space shooter networking game. But for now, let's just restrict the movement. Okay, so we're just going to restrict the y-axis. And we're going to do that by if we're moving up. So if we move the keys dot up, let's go ahead and add the brackets here. And what we want to do is we want to restrict the movement so that the player cannot go above an imaginary horizontal line that splits the game window in two, vertically in two. So we need to get to the center of the game window, and we need to subtract the half of the rectangle, our bounding rectangle, because of the way the origin is set up. Alright, so what we need to do is go to create an if block. So if player.position.y is greater than graphics device.viewport.height divided by 2. This gives us the center point of the game window in the vertical height direction. Now we need to we need to add the player height, the bounds, the half of the height of our rectangular bounds. So let's create an opening parentheses before the word graphics device. And after the word height, let's add a plus sign. And let's set player.bounds or .rectangle .height. And closing parentheses. Alright, so now let's press F5 and let's run this. And we are good to go. Now, if you want to, you can change it to where it's restricted on the left and right and bottom sides as well. As you can see, I can move outside of the game window right now. And if we really want to, let's go ahead and restrict the movement on all three more directions. So, let's just go from the top to bottom. Let's go to the left. If we press the left key, let's do the exact same thing. If player.position.x is greater than player.rectangle.width divided by 2. Because initially we would test it as 0, but then we need to add half of the width. So since 0 plus half the width will just be half the width, we just eliminate the 0 plus, and then we can just do this. Alright, so now let's test the left side, and we're good to go. Now let's go ahead and do the right side and the bottom side the exact same way. If player.position.x is less than, opening parentheses, graphics device.viewport.width. Now we need to subtract, in this case, player.width, or player.rectangle.width. Alright, closing parentheses divided by 2, and then closing parentheses again. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do the down key. If player.position.y is less than, opening parentheses, graphics device.viewport.height Now we need a minus again, player.rectangle.height. And go ahead and move the opening parentheses that I had you create before the word player. And then let's, after the word .height in the player.rectangle.height, add divide by 2, closing parentheses, closing parentheses. So the only thing wrapped in additional parentheses are player.rectangle.height divided by 2. So we do not need half the height of the graphics device, because we do want to get to the very bottom of the game window. Alright, so now let's test everything. We cannot go further up. We cannot go further left. We cannot go further down. And we cannot go further right. But that gives us a problem as to why it's using the half of the width. And looks like we did the exact same thing. If we go to the .keys.right else if block, go ahead and do what I mentioned in the keys.down, is to move the opening parentheses before the word player. Alright, so now we can't go any further right. So we just restricted the movement. So now let's go to build the solution and run the game twice. So now if we press up, now we cannot go any further. And it even can't go further in the both windows can't go any further. So there you go. It's completely half. I cannot go any further up on either window. And look at the two objects. They are perfectly on top of each other. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. A very quick, simple fix. Okay, so now for the next few tutorials, we're going to do some enhancements. We are going to modify the background. Instead of having a simple boring blue, we're going to bring in my particle system, and we're going to have a little starry, spacey background type of thing. So I hope to see you next time.